Welcome to This Explainer. We all know it, we all absolutely love it, but the story of how pizza actually got to our Friday night dinner tables, it's an epic journey spanning thousands of years, multiple empires, and continents. Right off the bat, we've got to ask the big question. Who actually invented pizza? Are we talking about an American innovation born out of 20th century ingenuity? A purely Italian masterpiece perfected on the streets of Naples? Or, maybe an accidental discovery from ancient times? Well, as we'll see, it's kind of a rich combination of all three.
Just to set the stakes here, the global pizza market is currently worth a staggering $128 billion. That is an absolute economic powerhouse of a dish. And to put our daily obsession into perspective, on any given day, 13% of the US population is eating pizza. It's not just a meal, it's a literal global dietary staple. So, Section 1, the dawn of dough. Yeast, bread, and shields. Let's travel way back in time to uncover the absolute oldest roots of this doughy delight.
It all kicks off around 4000 BC with the total accidental discovery of leavened bread in ancient Egypt. Basically, airborne yeast spores probably landed in some dough and boom, it rises. Fast forward to the 6th century BC during the rule of Darius the Great, and Persian soldiers are getting incredibly resourceful. Get this, they were actually baking flatbreads topped with cheese and dates directly on their heated battle shields. And then, by 19 BC, the idea of putting food on top of flatbread makes a pretty famous literary appearance in ancient Rome. This brilliantly captures the ancient concept of using dough rounds as plates. In Virgil's epic poem, the Aeneid, Trojan travelers arriving in Italy are so starving that after eating the mushrooms and herbs they'd piled on stale, round loaves of bread, they just eat the bread itself. The hero's son, Ascanius, practically yells that they are devouring the plates they just fed on. It's the ancient world's first real nod to the supreme convenience of pizza.
Moving into Section 2, the first pizza, from Pompeii to Gaeta. This is where we start seeing the earliest direct ancestors of both the word and the dish.
It's totally fascinating to pinpoint exactly when and where the word pizza actually shows up in history. Just recently, in 2023, archaeologists unearthed a fresco in Pompeii showing a pizza-like dish on a silver platter, which proves the region was experimenting with the idea way before Mount Vesuvius erupted. But the very first written use of the actual word pizza, that comes from a Latin text way back in 997 AD in the southern Italian town of Gaeta. And you're not going to believe this, but it was used as a rent payment. A tenant was legally bound to give the local bishop 12 pizzas every Christmas day and another 12 every Easter Sunday. Talk about a delicious lease agreement.
Section 3. The Neapolitan Revolution. The food of the Lazzaroni. This brings us to 18th century Naples, which is where modern pizza truly gets its start. So, in the 18th century, Naples had this massive population boom. The city was flooded with poverty-stricken peasants known as the Lazzaroni. The local economy just couldn't keep up, meaning these hungry folks needed food that was cheap, filling, and fast. Street vendors stepped right in, selling custom-sized slices of flatbread based on literally whatever pennies the customer could afford. Now, at the time, Europeans were super suspicious of tomatoes. They had just been introduced and people thought they were dangerous nightshades. Because everyone was scared of them, tomato prices were dirt cheap. And that made tomato-topped flatbread the absolute perfect budget-friendly meal for the Lazzaroni.
Jumping to 1738, we see this street food really start to grow up. Antica Pizzeria Portalba opened its doors, originally just as a humble stand for those Naples peddlers. But a century later, it expanded, added tables and chairs, and officially became the world's very first pizzeria. And it wasn't just for peasants anymore. King Ferdinand II of the Two Sicilies was actually known to visit the pizzeria totally incognito, just to gauge the mood of his people and grab a slice topped with garlic and tomato sauce. But the ultimate royal endorsement happened in 1889. King Umberto I and Queen Margherita of Savoy were visiting Naples, and they were just incredibly bored with their usual diet of fancy French haute cuisine. They craved something local, so they called in chef Rafael Esposito, who baked 3 different pizzas for them. The Queen's absolute favorite? A pie brilliantly designed to match the colors of the Italian flag: red tomatoes, white mozzarella, and green basil. Just like that, this patriotic peasant dish was elevated in status forever, taking on the name Pizza Margherita to honor the Queen. Section 4. Art of the Pizzaiuolo. UNESCO Cultural Heritage and Pizza Laws. As you can imagine, Naples takes its culinary invention incredibly seriously.
In fact, to protect their legacy, Naples passed a really strict set of laws in 2004 outlining exactly how a true Neapolitan pizza has to be made. It's practically a science at this point. First, you have to use a highly specific type of yeast and flour for the round dough. Then, you absolutely must cook it in a wood-fired oven at a blistering 905 degrees Fahrenheit. And when you're putting on the olive oil, the pizzaiolo has to pour it onto the base in a uniform spiral motion. If you miss a single step, legally, it just isn't true Neapolitan pizza.
And this dedication goes way beyond local laws. In 2017, the United Nations officially recognized the practice of the Neapolitan pizzaiolo, the pizza maker, by putting it on UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. This incredible status honors the roughly 3,000 pizzaioli living in Naples today who pass down these spectacular traditional baking skills through the generations in their family bottegas. It basically ensures the art form is never going to die.
Section 5. A global culinary phenomenon. Immigration and innovation. So, how on earth did this strictly regulated regional specialty become a global staple?
The answer really comes down to human movement. Between 1880 and 1920, millions of Italian immigrants arrived in the Americas, and they brought their appetites and their incredible baking skills right along with them. By 1905, the very first U.S. pizzeria, Lombardi's, opened up in New York City's Little Italy. But the real explosion in popularity, that hit right after World War II. Allied veterans returning from the Italian campaign had developed this massive craving for the local food they eat overseas, which instantly created a giant ready-made market for pizza back home.
And hey, it wasn't just North America getting in on the action. Buenos Aires, Argentina, firmly established itself as a world capital of pizza. Driven by that same massive wave of late 19th century Italian immigration, the city just fully adopted the dish. But because food was so much more abundant in Argentina compared to impoverished Italy at the time, immigrants transformed the modest, thin Neapolitan slice into a super hefty, cheese-heavy meal. By the 1930s, pizzerias were the ultimate hub for working-class socializing, which is why today, Buenos Aires consumes an estimated 14 million pizzas every single year. As pizza spread, it naturally adapted to local tastes. Just look at two iconic North American styles side by side. On one hand, you have New York-style pizza. It famously adds sugar and olive oil right into the crust, uses canned tomatoes mixed with aromatics like oregano, and opts for low-moisture grated mozzarella instead of fresh slices. Plus, die-hard fans swear the unique mineral profile of New York tap water is what gives the dough its distinct flavor. Contrast that with Detroit-style pizza. Invented in a Detroit bar in 1946, it's baked in a rectangular pan. It uses a thick, spongy focaccia base that's absolutely smothered in high-fat Wisconsin brick cheese, which bakes right into the edges to create an exceptionally crispy, caramelized crust.
And when we're talking about innovation, we definitely cannot forget Chicago deep dish. History actually shows this massive pie was created by total accident. Two restaurateurs were originally planning to open a Mexican food spot in Chicago. But when one of them unfortunately got sick from eating an enchilada, they totally pivoted to pizza. They needed something thick and entirely different to stand out in a neighborhood that was already packed with pizza joints. And boom, the towering deep dish was born. From Persian battle shields to the streets of Naples, all the way to deep dish pans in Chicago, this remarkable dish just never stops changing. It really leaves you wondering what the next wild evolution of this ancient, accidental dough is going to be. And the next time you order your Friday night takeout, ask yourself, does your favorite local slice truly meet those strict 905-degree Neapolitan standards? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep feeding your curiosity.